my calluses. I just never had to before, so it's just a new thing I'm gonna have to do. But we got a sponsor from Singapore, so I have like a whole little shavy thing now. I just gotta learn how to use it.
Nice. It's not that
Yeah.
bad. You just like press down real hard, upward angle of the knife, and then just like slice it. And then it comes out and it's so satisfying because like this whole entire like slice of skin comes off. It's really nice.
Well, I'm glad I have my hands insured because that's terrifying.
Do you actually? Wait, what? The basic question. When did you start Strongman and what got you into it?
Okay, well, you should already know this.
I
Glad to
do.
see how close we are, but I started Strongman in 2015 in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Okay, so I actually got into it. I had a classmate in my massage class in college, and she was competing along with her boyfriend at the time. So I went and watched her, and I thought it was super, super cool that she was lifting really cool things while losing weight. I thought that was a cool way to get fit. Actually, do you know it's going to be 10 years? It's going to be 10 years in March that
I
I've been
know.
training strongman.
I know it's
10
gonna be
years.
9 in April for
And
me.
I started this to lose weight. Again, I was 19. So, of course, you know, we all had eating disorders back then and
Hmm.
calories in, calories out type of thing, right? So, yeah, I
Yeah.
thought I was going to lose weight doing this. Not really, but my body composition completely changed.
Yeah.
And I actually like looking at myself naked now. I like going to the pool and I just feel better about myself. And
Mhm.
on top of all of that, it's because I was getting stronger. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
way
that's
better than
actually,
running on a treadmill.
yeah.
Ain't it?
I think that's actually one of the coolest parts about Strongman is like as much as like body dysmorphia kicks in a little bit, it's also like you feel really powerful knowing that you can do things that you couldn't do before. Um, yeah, like I think I also did Strongman to lose weight and I put on 45 pounds
But
over
look,
9 years, of course.
yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't like lose any weight. Like I did initially, like, like 6 pounds, but then I weighed that same weight for like the last 8 years, had a baby, and now I'm like 6 pounds heavier than what I normally am. And I'm okay with that. I don't really care what the scale says. It's just seeing my muscle definition come back and my cardio getting better and my strength coming back is all that really matters to me. And then, yeah, I'm happy with the way I look.
Yeah. So how do you find strongman functional in your daily life? Like obviously you're a massage therapist, you're an RMT. So like what what benefits do you see strongman having for carryover?
So again, that's kind of partially why I kept with it is I knew I needed to work on my grip strength if I wanted to be in the massage industry for a long time.
Mhm.
So I kept up with the strongman training, did a bunch of my grip work, and now I have a lot of clients that are like baffled by how strong I am, like with my hands and my elbows. And I remember a few men, like male clients, actually scoffed me off. Like when they first came in, they're like, "Oh, I thought I wanted to book with a male therapist, but he's full, so I guess you'll do." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do." And they became regular clients because they're like, "Holy fuck, you're strong." Like, I don't need no man to do my massages. And I was like, "Yeah, that's right. You just need a Bailey." So that's kind of how
Mhm.
I built my clientele over the few years. That's why I just keep doing it. I need to be careful though, because now I can overdo it.
Mm.
So if I do have like a full day of massage and then I go and do like farmers or I find overhead really affects my grip and I get a little bit of tendonitis in my elbows. So I just got to make sure
Mm.
I balance those out because I am doing so much grip work that my flexors are like ka-chow and then my extensors are like really sad. And so I need to, yeah, focus on still doing rehab. I know I can be super strong and do both of them, but it's just as important for the massage therapist to do her rehab and specific strengthening exercises for my actual job too.
Yeah. Well, and like it's not just you, like everyone should be doing rehab, if not as a warm up, as it should be incorporated because one sage wisdom that my physio gave me was as you get stronger, you also get weaker. So like those little intrinsic muscles, the stabilizers, as large muscle groups gain strength, you still have to keep up that strength with the smaller stabilizers. So as you get stronger, you also get weaker and you have to meet strength with strength too. So like I still do rehab from years ago when I first injured my hamstring. And like it's something that's a part of my warm up now. And like since tearing my hamstring 2 years ago, I have to keep on top of that or else it seizes up really quickly and really fast and easy. So it's just something that's a part of my warm up routine now, which takes like an hour.
But we all have
Over
our
25.
yeah. We all have our thing though.
Yeah,
Because I'm still
totally.
really big with foam rolling. I like the lacrosse ball in my upper back. I stretch out my arms. Like I usually do pretty much a full body stretch routine before I start my workout. And I've had people say like, if you have to foam roll before every workout, like you're probably not doing something right in your everyday life. 2 years later, they're gone because they're either hurt
Mhm.
or, something. And I'm like, okay, well, that might not work for you. And clearly, whatever you're doing didn't work out in the end. But like, this is what I'm comfortable with. I'm comfortable doing this full body stretch before I do a workout because I can't afford to hurt myself. Because if I do hurt myself
Yeah.
in the gym, it is very likely that I'm not going to be able to work because I do have a high demanding job. I have to stand, I have to go into a lunge, I have to apply pressure. So, if that means I have to prioritize rehab and, taking care of my body, then so be it. Who cares if it's an extra 40 minutes of my day?
So, what was the best comp you've ever competed in? And I'm talking like the prize, the location, the competitors, the best prep you had, etc. Like, what was the best competition you ever did? All things considered,
Oh my
or just
God.
like your favorite.
There's so many.
And you don't have to say the one that you were with me at. It's fine.
I mean, I'm going to because it was literally the best. I dream and talk about Norway all the time.
All the
FIFOR is
time.
like, if you haven't been to FIFOR in Norway yet, you have to go. Kiki runs a show every year in July. I low key signed up. I just haven't paid or anything yet, but I'm hoping because my name's on the roster that maybe it'll get me to go. I want to go back and I want to bring my family back. But anyways, it's just like the vibes and like Norway in general is just like so beautiful. The land of FIFOR, like your
I know.
hotel, the buffet food, and then like all your events and stuff are like all right there. You don't have to go anywhere. There's like a 40-minute, maybe not 40-minute, 20-minute drive, like straight incline up the mountain to get there. Oh, just
I
gorge.
don't remember being a straight incline.
I remember going up a mountain in the
Well, yeah, we
van.
went up a mountain, but it wasn't like straight incline. The way down, I don't,
Oh
I'm a little inebriated. I
no.
don't remember the way down. I'm sure
I don't
Aaron
remember
still has the footage
leaving.
of.
Oh my God. So yeah, that was
You
so
don't
good.
remember
That's just
leaving?
I don't want to talk about it.
Anyways, February was fantastic.
Yes. So that's by far
I would
like
like
my
to go.
favorite location.
Hmm.
God, for everything else, prize money, the best prize money that I got was at Strongest Woman in the World in Alaska.
Oh, that's right.
And that had the salmon toss. So that was a very unique event. So I guess that's kind of on top of the list up there. Another top one. Okay, so probably my best prep was Shaw Classic 2022. I was on. I got I was sitting in third place at the Shaw Classic at one point, and that was after the first event. But I was sitting in third place
Nice.
overall. That's right.
What event was that?
The deadlift
The
was a
deadlift.
500 pound. 13-inch deadlift for reps.
Hmm.
I got
How many
third
reps did
behind.
you get again?
I got 8 reps. Olga got 9, and Victoria got 10.
Ugh, Victoria. What a machine.
Right.
A prime Victoria was a machine back in the day.
But now, speaking of
Dang.
Victoria, Summer has come back. Summer Johnson has been making her way back into the strongman world, and she is coming to the Arnold. And she also competed
Nice.
and won America's Strongest Woman last year. So
That's right.
she's been dabbling. She's in and out. She lived in Calgary for a bit back in the day, and she was going to school for wrestling. And I'm assuming she's still wrestling, maybe semi-pro. But yeah, her name has started to come back up at these strongman
Yeah.
shows, which I find really interesting. So we'll see what
I'm
happens with
excited
that.
to see her back because like she's such an odd contender because like she's just so even keel and like not a lot phases her, but she's so strong. Like I remember in Norway, the for the truck pull, the 20-ton truck pull, it jumped back when they blew the whistle and it tore her hands to shreds. And she was just like, so can I go again? Like obviously they messed up. And it's like, huh? And she's
Yeah,
just
like
like,
when
I
her
get to
game
go
face is
again,
on,
right?
it's on. Yeah, like
Yeah. She's a monster.
yeah. So,
Like I would cry, I'd be like, my hands.
so I don't think I've seen her compete since Norway. So
No.
having her at the Arnold this year, I don't know. I'm just excited to kind of reconnect with her again.
So what was your rookie year like? And how would you describe the scene in Canada at that time in terms of strongman? So like obviously now there has been growth in the sport, but what was it like back then when you first started?
Okay, so my rookie years would have been 2015, 2016, 2017, I guess. Does that sound right? Yeah, I think that's
I'd
right.
call like your first year, year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there was only like, again, started in Saskatoon. So there was like a good chunk of us because we had some good strongman gyms. But then by the time I moved back to Alberta in 2016, I went back to a commercial gym because we didn't have anything. We had our friend's driveway and garage. Same thing. I'm working out at this commercial gym, and some guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you're Bailey, right?" Yeah. It's like, "Oh, I'm a strongman. Da da da. You should come train with us out here at the farm." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm 21 years old. A middle-aged man just invited me to a farm in the middle of nowhere. Sure. Yeah, let's do it."
That sounds like Bailey.
Right? Yeah, just no fear. So we end up going to this farm, and and again, like these are heavyweight-ish strong men. So then we meet up with other heavyweight strong men, and then there's Bailey. And I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. My parents definitely know where I am right now. And this guy that was there, this was the first time I had met him. We're really close friends now, but same thing, scuffed me off. He's like, ugh, there's a lady here. I need to work out today. I don't want to be here for hours teaching somebody how to do something. And of course, he didn't say that to me, but I, you know, kind of got the vibe. I didn't care because I knew what my potential was at the time, whereas he didn't. And we were doing yoke runs, and I think I like worked up to like 500 pounds, going back and forth. And he was like, "Hey, yeah, that's cool. Like,
And
let's go
back
make
then, 500 was the number for
that."
women. Like that was a big PR.
Mhm. And then we had a anchor boat chain. So each
Uh,
link is like that
mm.
big, probably, right? And how many was on there? 10, 7 or 10 links. And we all took turns dragging it all the way up the driveway on this farm and all the way back. And I didn't give up. And yeah, he's been like my best friend ever since because he's like, yeah, I like you. You need to be my training partner. We're going to train more often. So that was kind of cool. And I'm not saying like men back then thought that women shouldn't be lifting weights, but it just wasn't heard of. And especially coming
Yeah.
from Saskatchewan to Alberta, there was even less than us in Alberta.
Hmm.
And it was that I think it was 2016, we had three girls at provincials and one was in each weight class. So we all competed together. We all did the same weights, but all weighed in
Yep.
differently. So
Yep. Oh man, I remember those days when there was one girl in the weight class. It's like, well, you can like still podium in your weight class, but like Jackie's in the open, you're in the light heavyweight. Back then there was light heavyweight. Yeah, I remember like the light heavyweight and then the super heavyweight, and there was no one else. And so they just put us together. That's just how it was.
yeah. And like we still do that sometimes for our qualifiers here too, just because we have so many weight classes now because we've grown so much. But then once you get to like provincials and nationals, then you have some competition. But just sometimes a small local show and you want to cap them. Like you don't want to have 80 athletes. You don't want it to have a 12-hour day. So usually we
No.
cap it. So sometimes there is only one person. And it's not just the women either. It's the men too that might only have one in their weight class. And that's kind of is what it is. But be ready for provincials because you'll have some competition.
Yeah.
So don't slack.
So what was your first nationals like then? Did you do it in 2015?
No, I don't think what did I do? No, I did a rookie show was my first one. Then I drove to Fort Mac for some reason to do my second show. Don't know why, but that's what I did. I don't know. Maybe we didn't have nationals. I don't know. I wasn't told about, I don't know. Maybe we didn't have a nationals that year. I'm not sure.
When
But
did
then
you get? Oh.
2016, I won provincials out
Mhm.
of three girls, and then went to nationals, which was in Regina.
Yep.
And I placed second at nationals.
Yep, I remember.
But then same thing, there wasn't really an invite for anything. There was Arnold invites at the time, but it was only for first place. So I
That's
never did get an
right.
amateur invite. So then following into 2017,
Yep.
I think I did like 8 shows that year, 8 or 10 shows. I just did
Yeah, you did a
everything that
lot.
I could.
Yep.
And I think I got third in provincials that year. But then the week after, I was invited to a pro am show because we
Mhm.
had just got one, two, three, four. There was four Canadian ladies that started the strongman circuit. So there was four pro ladies. So they wanted to extend the invite and try to add more to that roster. So they created a pro am competition where the top amateur got her pro card. So I had tied for third and earned my pro status there. And then I ended up doing nationals with you that year. It was in Bathurst, and I just kind of did it for fun. I remember winning the yoke and then didn't really care about anything afterwards. And my friend Shelby was there too. So I think we were just all
Yep.
hanging out. So I don't even know what place I got at nationals. I didn't win, so I'll tell you that. But then I went to OSG that year. That was the first year they
That's
also
right.
had hosted OSG. And
That's right.
that was an eye opener. I was so nervous. And I that was the second time meeting Donna Moore. And that was the first year Donna Moore won World's Strongest Woman.
Right.
But I was fangirling hard. Kim Lawrence was there too. Same thing. I was just
Hmm.
like, ah, my
Man, the
idol's
first
back.
time I met Donna Moore, I didn't know who she was. When I first started, I had no idea of the history of strongman, whatever. I was just like, this is fun. I'm good at it. Sick. I remember at the Arnold in 2018 when I went to the Arnold Amateur. I didn't know like what was going on because they didn't like say what time we had to be there the next day or anything. I had no
Mhm.
info. And so I saw Kiki and I was like, she knows. She looks like a mom. She obviously has information. I'm gonna go ask her. And and she was in my weight class too. So I was like, her and Donna were talking. And I was like, hi, sorry to interrupt. And like Donna turned as if she was expecting me to ask for a picture, which I didn't. And I was like, sorry to interrupt. And I like squared up to Kiki and I was like, do you know what time we're supposed to be here tomorrow? No clue who she was. And she's like, yeah, I think this. I'm like, okay, thanks. Bye. Have a good night.
That's awesome. She probably wasn't offended or anything either, but she's probably so used to
No.
that.
Yeah.
What year did you say that was? 2018?
2018 March.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she would have just won her world title like three
Yep.
months prior.
Yep. Like, who is this kid just like not Me, it's me. I don't
That's
know who you
awesome.
are.
That's so awesome. I
I
did
was just there
that
to have a good
to
time.
I did that to Evan Singleton kind of once. Him and Laura were just hanging out at the Arnold. And of course there was like a
Mhm.
little bit of a lineup to get a picture with Evan or whatever. And I'm standing on the side, just, barely off to the side talking to Laura. And there was a couple other guys that approached and he's like, "Oh, sorry, are you in line to get a picture with Evan?" And I was like, "No, I'm here to see Laura." And then Evan and the guy were just like, oh, I don't know. I just felt like I had to tell you that because that guy was like, okay.
So, as you shifted into the pro scene, can you describe some of the challenges you faced, whether that be like in your personal life that conflicted with the sport, or like mentally or emotionally, or like work and career, or stuff in the sport in general that was just obstacles that you had to overcome?
All right. So in Canada, technically, I was the fifth woman to earn her pro status. So here, I thought I was going to be rolling in the sponsors, making money, getting invited to these shows. Nope, Bailey's been busting her ass at work every day since then. And again, that was 8 years ago, oh, 7.5 years ago. But that was kind of the biggest struggle is that
Mhm.
also everybody around you were like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna get this and this and this, and yeah, you're gonna go viral. You're gonna be this big thing." I find it's really hit and miss. You need to, I don't know, it's like all surrounding social media now, I find, which I'm not
Yeah.
good at, but the ones that are good at are thriving, which is good and it's good for strongman. It's just not good for me.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't want to say like I'm struggling, but I'm just still showing up to try to get my name out there. I'm doing as many shows as I can, still working on the social media aspect, hence why we're doing this podcast. I just started my own YouTube. So just trying to get my name out there in different ways. And I
Yeah.
think that's also part of being the pro athletes that we are, is that's also kind of like our job is to spread awareness, I guess, or just like, yeah, just get your name out there in whatever that means to you. Um,
Yeah, it's definitely a struggle for me as well. Cause like when you work 40 plus hours a week and then you have to go and train 20 plus hours a week, that's, let's say, an 80-hour work week, which some people are like,
yeah.
"Ah, that's nothing." But then you go home, have a beer, eat supper, and go to bed. And like I kind of do that too, but I work, I train, I come home and I eat, and then I sleep. And I might get an hour of TV time before it's like, okay, now you're cutting into some really important sleep hours here. And like I can imagine with you having a baby, like that's like takes a lot out of you too. So it's like not all of us are sponsored, and like so we still have to work. And a lot of us are still just normal people who just happen to be really good at something. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can relate to that for sure.
Mm-hmm. I think also like this is a new problem that I'm trying to kind of get around is I said this earlier about like the complications of dating a pro strongman or like being in a relationship with one. It was really fun. It was really fun before having a baby and it still is fun now. But now that we're both trying to plan for the Arnold, I don't know about him, but I'm fucking stressed out. Like, I want to bring baby because I love her and I want her to see what
Mhm.
her mom and dad can do, but this kid
Yeah.
doesn't sleep. Why would
Yeah.
I spend thousands of dollars for us to go down there, me get 2 hours of sleep a night, pack up all of her stuff, and she's screaming and crying. I go and bring her to the Arnold where she's going to be overstimulated. She's a toddler
Mhm.
now, so she's not going to stay in her stroller. She's going to have to walk around. I don't just all these added things, and I know that comes with being a mom, and I still want her to be there. But it's just easier if one of us wasn't competing. If one of us wasn't competing, just like last year, or when Josh does westerns, or if I do westerns, then like easy peasy, it's great. But when you both
Mhm.
spend this money and you dedicate all these hours and,
Yeah.
you know, like you got to find a sacrifice somewhere.
Yeah.
It's tough. I want
Well,
her there, but I might leave her with with her grandparents, is what
yeah.
I'm saying.
And I know one of the sacrifices that I take is in the summer times because with Aaron's family, they're very much lake people. And in the summer, it's, well, come up this weekend, come up this weekend. And it's like, you don't understand. The weekend is when I get my event training in. I can't. Plus, I'm not sacrificing sleep on a bed that I don't know to see you. Like, I'm sorry, but this is comp time. This is comp season. They understand it from a hockey perspective because they're a hockey family, but they can go to those games. They can watch him train. They can't come to the gym and watch me train. They don't see the preliminary stuff. Like, they don't really understand it the way that they understand hockey. So it's a lot different. So from like a trading in family time and friend time. Like there's no time for friends or family come summertime just because that's when we're prepping, that's when we're peaking.
Hmm.
Nutrition has to be on point. Like you just have to be present. And so with a baby, I can only imagine that complicates things so much more as a female athlete, especially one that has to work and who you are
Hmm.
your own sponsor essentially.
Well, and especially now that all of the rest of the family, like Blakely is who everybody wants to see now. Like, it's like, oh yeah, Bailey's there, but we need to see Blakely. And a lot of them don't come out here. We only get to see them twice a year. So every time they see Blakely, she's completely changed. So I understand that. But for us to like drive there, actually spend quality time, like that's like 4 or 5 days. Like during Christmas break, I trained on Monday
Hmm.
and then I didn't train again till Monday.
Yep.
And that took a big
Yep.
hit. But then I trained 4 days in a row. But then I had a shitty fourth day because I was exhausted. And it is what it is. I
Yeah.
was able to shrug it off. I knew that was coming. And I chose to do the 4 days in a row because I wanted to play catch up. So that's like
Yeah.
my fault. But yeah. And I think I do have like a really understanding family. And plus, I've been doing this for so long that they just know how I
Yeah.
am and who I am. But I still get questioned and they're just like, oh, why aren't you drinking? Or, oh, have another one. Or, oh, eat this. And, oh, why don't you come up more often? It's like, well, you
I
know
mean,
why.
when you come up to PA to see your family, you always can stop by and train.
Yeah. And we've always tried planning. We always like to try to
Yeah,
plan that.
yeah.
And I know
Doesn't always work out
the
though.
stars didn't align this time, but
Yeah,
yeah, I would have brought, if the gym owners allowed it, I would have brought Blakely in to the gym and Josh and I could have just taken turns. But even just moving our bodies would have been more than enough, better than not doing
yeah,
anything. Because we also just sit
yeah,
and we like it's good family time when we play a bunch of card games and just enjoy each other's company, but that also involves a lot of sitting and a lot of freaking nothing.
yeah. But I think that plays into like I think that's good for the mental health of the athlete too, to just relax and have fun. Like I know over Christmas here, um, me and grandma were playing crib and I beat her twice out of 3 games. And like it was just so much fun because like I got to heckle my grandma who traditionally is a card shark. So that was kind of fun. But like and for someone who's like, oh, I've been bragging to everyone about my granddaughter, it's like, oh, yeah, well, your granddaughter's about to kick your butt. That's what's about to happen. So, like, I think that family time is really good. But, like, when you're in season, that's just not affordable for time. And I think it's tough for families to wrap their heads around that, especially because we're not in the spotlight like other athletes because we do have jobs that we have to dedicate our time to, and we don't necessarily have time for all the social media stuff or the finances to hire someone to do it. So I think
Hmm.
that plays a big halt, if you will. So, so then can you describe some of the cons as a rookie or amateur when you started and how those cons compare now or how they're not a con?
The cons of being an amateur.
In 2016, 2017, and how the face of strongman has shifted since then.
I mean, I guess comparing then to now, like it wasn't a con at the time, but there was just not enough local shows, I think. Like I think we had like one, two, yeah. Maybe I had two. But like that year that I did the 8 or 10 shows, I was also in Oregon. I was also in Ireland. Like, and then I went to OSG somewhere in the state, North Carolina, I think it was.
Yep.
So out of those
Yep.
8 or 10 shows I did, three of them weren't even in Canada. So I still had those opportunities back then.
Did you have to
I
go
don't know.
look
I
for
guess
them or
just,
did they come to you?
sorry.
Did you have to go look for those shows and opportunities or did they come to you?
They just happened to be on Facebook. It just kind of popped up.
Back in the day when strongman events were events on Facebook?
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, one just popped up. So yeah, me and my friend James went to Oregon, and then I don't know how I found Ireland, but I think that's when that whole like AI stuff started creeping into our lives. Because you know when you talk about something and then you scroll on your phone and you're
Mhm.
like, I was just talking about that. I think that's how
Yep.
Ireland played out. Is that me and my family were talking about wanting to have a family trip out there, and I was like, yes, I would love to go to Ireland. I swear, weeks later, Ireland's Strongest Woman popped up, and I showed my family, and I was like, "So you want to go?" They're like, "Well, yeah, might as well." So
That's awesome. So
yeah,
did you have to be Irish in order to do that or no?
no, like I told them I was Irish, but I didn't have like an Irish passport or anything. But yeah, he just let me
Okay.
compete. Yeah,
That's so sick. So then
yeah,
would you say that there's more opportunities now or do you think they're more gate kept
yeah. No,
or
so
like
compared
protected?
from then to now, we have way, 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 way
Yeah,
more
that's
opportunities,
what
and
I
they're like
thought.
right at your fingertips. Like it's so easy to find. Um, as long as you have like some platform of social media, like usually Facebook or Instagram, but word of mouth is happening a lot too. So I bet you a friend of a friend of a friend definitely does. They know something about this sport or this gym, something like that, the community.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like even this year I think we have four qualifiers and then provincials, and we're hosting Westerns, and we're hosting nationals, and we're hosting Strongest Women in Canada. And that's just our federation. Alberta has
You
like
guys are
three other
busy.
strongman federations. So I
Yeah.
think total we probably have like 14 shows in Alberta this year, easily.
That's awesome. And
It's
like
great.
what's the rookie scene like? Because like I used to host rookie competitions and like I love the grassroots because bringing people in to something that I really love is a lot of fun. So is there a lot of rookie shows in Alberta happening this year?
Yeah, so we have Grit and Glitter that happens every March.
Hmm.
That's a rookie one. You don't really need a membership. You just pay an entry fee and then you just show up. And something like tonight, like I coached at Women of Steel. So there's a couple of girls that are signed up for that show. So we just ran through events with them. It was just like a
Nice.
fun women's night. But yeah, we have at least one of those. And then Strongman Corp, they also obviously offer novice weight classes too. So still you need to have a membership and whatnot, but you can at least be guaranteed like 3 or 4 shows if you want it, all the way up to provincials. So it gives them like a full trial season basically before committing to bigger, scarier weights, I suppose.
Yeah. Which I think is so important. And like there's a few rookies who I've encouraged to like if you don't feel confident, just like honestly just stick in the weight class that you're in and just build from there. But if you want to do a rookie year, do a full rookie year and don't let anyone convince you otherwise
Yeah.
because you have to have a base of strength. And if you didn't have one prior to strongman, you should definitely just spend time learning and just being the student before you just hop into something big. So don't let someone say, "Oh, you should just do amateur. What are you doing in rookie?" Don't listen to that. Just stay rookie and just enjoy the time that you have, collect the experiences because
Yeah.
there's a lot to say for someone who has competition experience versus gym experience. So I do
Like,
think that that's really important.
yeah, like trying to add in down commands and not bouncing
Mhm.
your weights and making sure you're crossing the line and not sliding, making sure you're ready when your name is called or having to
Yep.
wait like an hour between events. Like it's a whole different ball game. And yeah,
Yep.
there's nothing wrong with
Totally.
doing a rookie season. Like strongman's not going anywhere, so what's the rush?
No,
Have a good
no,
fun
exactly.
season and then turn on the
Yeah,
jets next year. What
totally. So what are some of the positive changes that you've seen in recent years in strongman as a whole that make you excited for the future of the sport?
So there's always been like an imbalance with the men and women. I'm sure you thought I was going to bring that up because that is a huge main topic that we all talk about.
Yep.
Um, yeah, there's never been like equal prize money in like any of the shows that we've done, like from like
No.
mid pack to like very top tier. Recently, Rogue um, paid out an equal pay of 112 or $121,000 for the winner of the
122.
man, 122, the winner
Yep.
of the man and the winner of the woman. That was just first place. Like we're
Yep.
even
Shout out Inez.
usually we're lucky we can't even get a purse that big. So the
No.
fact that the winner got that, that's huge. And I think that like changed waves of how everybody looks at it. Cause I know like 2024 was kind of my trial run to come back after baby. And now 2025, like I really want to make a run for it. And then
Yeah.
also seeing that at the end of last year is keeping me motivated. Like usually motivation doesn't last very long. It's kept me motivated now until like it's January now and I'm still
Yeah.
ready to go. And I turned 30 this year, so I want to make my 30s like memorable. And like now
Yeah.
it's I feel like it's gonna be my time. Like I want my 30s
Yeah.
to rock. So the fact that I
Yeah.
know that we have the potential to get paid to replace our
Mhm.
job, like that's an option now.
Yes.
I think that is super, super cool. But yeah, just the equality of the men and women, these huge international shows and like letting women take up space on the platform, like Lucy's deadlift and Ez's overhead. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it just makes me tear up. You getting second at Worlds, like I still can't express like how I was jumping
Yeah.
around in the kitchen watching that live. Like it's just
Still a little surreal.
yeah.
Like, oftentimes I will still watch that stone run if I'm feeling sad because it's like that was the best stone run I've ever had. And it wasn't the fact that I was looking to beat the girls, it was the fact that that 325 stone had made a mockery of me in times past, and I wanted to get revenge on that stone. So it
Hmm.
wasn't even a I have to beat blah blah blah. It was I'm gonna get that
Yeah.
stone if it's the last
Uh,
thing I do today, and it will be the last thing I do. And I didn't even get a yellow leader shirt, which I'm really upset about because I saw that someone else did. So anyways, I'm not upset. Well, I mean, 2025, you have mom strength now, so that's not fair.
suck it.
I'm excited about this year. I think this is going to be a really good year for you. So I can't wait to rub shoulders with you at Westerns again. That's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Because I mean,
same.
that's I think Westerns and Swick will be the only time that you and I get to compete in the same class.
Yeah, unless we both do Shaw, there's potential
Yep.
there.
Are you
Yeah,
doing
that's kind of it for open shows that we do together is in Canada and Shaw.
if you could give a new athlete your sage wisdom, like things to avoid, things to work harder for, etc., what advice would you give? I don't want to say give advice to your younger self because that's pretty cliche, but like a young lifter who just started who's like, dang, I'm good at this. If you could look at them and be like, oh my God, that's me, just like 10 years younger,
Mhm.
what would you go and say to them?
So yeah, this is what I always say is like I don't really like the saying, but it's a marathon, not a race. So again, repeating myself, I'm creeping up to 10 years. I've had like two minor injuries that like took me out for 2 weeks each.
I just knocked on wood for you.
Thank you. Same. So I think that says something is
Yeah.
yeah, been in it for so long. I started young. I'm now getting into, my 30s, so things might start hurting a little bit more.
They
But
do.
But yeah, that's the main thing. Like, don't rush. But like, if you want to go to the gym 4 or 5 days a week and you want to make it your thing, make it your thing. Because that's exactly what I did, and I think it got me to where I am today. And like, I had an amazing few years, and it's because I dove right into the deep end that fast. Another thing is please don't start PEDs in like your second show. That's another big thing. And that comes with the marathon, not the race, because there are, again,
Yeah.
so many people. I don't have to name names, but there's big names
No.
that aren't around anymore because they
Yeah.
unfortunately made that mistake.
Yeah. It's true.
That's number
Well,
two.
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Number three is my last one is don't skip your accessories because Bailey sucks at overhead because she decided to do yoke and deadlifts every day. She avoided overhead because overhead sucks. And now look at me. I am paying the price. And if you do
Yep.
your accessories, there's less likely that you'll get injured, hopefully, technically. And um, you look fucking jacked. You don't look jacked
Yeah.
maxing out every week. You look jacked by doing all your accessories. You should see my back. Huh.
I've seen your
Thank you,
back.
Danny.
I've
I am
seen your
built
back.
by Danny, and
Yeah.
she is all about the accessories. So, yeah, I'm like an
Yeah.
accessory fanatic now. I love them.
And I would also say don't skip your warm up. The amount of kids I see come into the gym and just start, and it's like, so
That
like
drives.
no cardio, no low intensity cardio, no like RPE 4, no 2 by
But
12
I'm
of
also like,
something like
how did you just squat past parallel without warming up? Like, again, I
like
don't know if this is an age thing, but like my knees would pop,
no.
my bar would
Dude,
be
even when
sideways.
I first
Like,
started, like I remember watching powerlifters. Well, he wasn't really a powerlifter, but he popped to Aleve and sat on the platform and was drinking his Tim's coffee. And he was like, I'm just waiting for the Aleve to kick in before I start. It's like, what about a warm up? And it's just like, what? So, like, my image of powerlifters are just like not great because I just think they warm up with the Timmies and Advil.
that
So,
drives me
never
nuts.
skip your warm ups or accessories.
I don't get how people do that. And I guess you can't say because I'm young and I'm mobile and stuff. I started when I was 19 and I still had my full 25-minute regimen at the time.
Yeah. Listen, if you want to be a pro athlete, if you want to be the world's strongest man, there are certain things that, or strongest woman, there are certain things you cannot avoid. And warm up and accessories are, and good nutrition and sleep are not some of those things you should ever be skipping. So, what's coming up for you, Bailey? Where can people find you? Where can people watch you? What can they expect out of you this year?
Okay, well, you can find me on Instagram. That's where I usually hang out most of the time on my phone. BDZ Lemon Squeezy. And I also just
Yeah.
started my YouTube page. So that's more just like stretching, rehab, maybe some accessory work is what I'm going to focus on. So if you need a couple of stretches or if you need some recommendations, then you can reach out to me. But I think my YouTube is just Bailey Cloherty Pro Strong Woman RMT, I believe is what it is. This year, my season is going to look like the Arnold, I believe, for March. Depending how funds are, I probably won't have a lot of them, so I might count out Norway. But again, registered, that's like a hard maybe. We'll see, we'll see. And then there's North America's Moss Wrestling Championships also in July in Calgary that I missed out last year. So I would like to do that because Moss Wrestling is actually really fun. And I think it's
Yeah.
during the Stampede. So I don't know, just a
Mm,
good vibe. And
yeah.
then we have Shaw Classic in August. Then after Shaw Classic, we have Strongest Woman in the West.
The week after, the
I
very
believe
next weekend.
I'd rather have the Shaw Classic first.
Yep, yep.
I'd rather
As
do
someone
good
who
at
did three
Metro.
shows in a row, I would absolutely prefer the Shaw first.
Yep.
Well,
But
that was
that's
both of
okay.
us last year.
Westerns, we just need to get our SWIC invite. That's really all
Yeah,
Westerns. Even though like Western Canada's strongest woman title would be really, really cool. Probably take a break in September because we have
yeah.
SWIC in October and then maybe OSG in December.
So if you go back to OSG, do you think you'll cut to the 73 or do you think you'll try and get strong in the 82?
I'm gonna just see what my body does. I'll do 82
Yeah.
at the Arnold just because like I'm basically 81 kilos right now and I'm eating a lot right now, so I would just rather do that.
Hmm.
I'm definitely a lot more competitive in the 73, I think. Like I have like a top tier deadlift in 73, where
Yep.
82 I kind of dropped down a few points, but I don't know,
Okay.
this might just be my new body. So, and I'm
Yeah.
totally okay with it. I just, my body needs to
Mhm.
make a decision. So I'll probably make a decision by like July or August, when registration comes out and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I'm assuming I'm going to be doing 82, which I'm completely fine with. But if my body wants to go back down to 170 pounds comfortably, then I could do a shot at 73 again. I wouldn't mind doing that.
Thank you so much, Bailey, for coming on and being my first guest. I appreciate you so much.
Thanks for having
And I look forward to seeing you in March. And I'm really excited to see how you come back as an athlete because with potential babies on the way for me in the future, in the next year or two, I don't know. Um, Watching you as an athlete has been something that I'm keeping an eye on because it's like, okay, like this, you and Annabelle, because you were the first
Oh
two.
my God.
I
Annabelle's wild
know.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you
Mm,
were the first two mums in like my cohort
yeah.
to be like top level athletes and then have to dip for a bit because of babies, which it's not a detriment, but just in our society as women, like being a pro athlete and a mom is just not really it's not sustainable to be both at the same time. So
Hmm.
it's very difficult. You really need a community of support, which is great to hear that you have. But yeah, I'm watching you guys because it's like, what's coming up? Because I know there's going to be another group of us who are all going to dip and have babies. So
Yeah.
there's going to be
Well, and you're watching me. I was watching Rebecca Houston because we had met
right.
her 8 months postpartum at the Shaw Classic, and I was like, she can do it, I can do it. And then I got pregnant 3 months later. That's all the motivation that I needed.
That's right.
Yeah.
And her little
And
man's
now
so
looking
big
at her
now.
now, like OSG finals, like she's repping an insane amount of weight on deadlift. Her overhead is
Becky.
insane. And I'm like, yep, give me 2 more years and that's going to be me,
Becky is so
but at
strong.
my
Like it
level.
is so cool
Yeah.
to watch her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
everybody's
anyways,
motivating everybody. Hmm.
yeah, facts. But anyways, I look forward to seeing you in March. And yeah, good luck training. Good luck getting stronger. Good luck with your accessories. Good luck with your massage. Good luck with your YouTube video. And we will see you in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Toodaloo.